Sightings of strange lights and mutilated animals were disturbingly common. One evening, while making his rounds near an abandoned cabin, he noticed something strange, a deer standing on the trail ahead of him. It wasn't unusual to see wildlife in the park, but this deer stood unnaturally still. Its eyes glowed faintly in his flashlight beam, not with the reflection of light, but with something else, something aware. He felt a wave of unease as the deer began to move, not away, but toward him. Each step was jerky, almost mechanical, as though something was learning how to walk inside that body. Daniel raised his flashlight higher and gasped. The deer's mouth opened, and a low, hoarse voice came out. "Daniel!" He froze. No one knew he was there. He dropped the flashlight and ran, his radio crackling with static as he called for backup. When the other rangers arrived, they found nothing but his flashlight on the trail and deep hoof prints in the mud, leading to the old cabin that no one had entered in years. Inside, they found something carved into the wooden wall. "He wears the skin of those who wander." Daniel quit his job a week later. He never spoke about that night again. The second encounter took place near the Navajo reservation, where a young couple named Ryan and Marissa decided to camp, out in the desert for a weekend getaway. They set up their tent miles from the nearest town, under a full moon that bathed the sand in a pale silver glow. Around midnight, they heard footsteps circling their tent. At first, they thought it was an animal, but then came the sound of laughter, low and broken, echoing all around them. Ryan stepped out with a flashlight and saw nothing but shifting shadows. That's when he noticed something on the ridge, a tall figure, crouched and watching. He called out, thinking it was a person. The figure stood up slowly and mimicked his words, back in his exact voice. "Who's there?" it said, repeating him perfectly. Marissa screamed from inside the tent. Something was pressing against the fabric, hands clawed and trembling. Ryan ran toward her, yanked her out, and they sprinted toward their truck. But when they reached it, something was standing beside the driver's door. It was the same figure, too tall, its limbs too long, its head tilted unnaturally to one side. Ryan flashed his headlights, and in that moment, they saw its face. It was wearing the skin of a coyote, stitched crudely around a human mouth. The creature screeched and ran toward the darkness on all fours. They drove away without looking back. When they told a local elder about the encounter, he simply said, "You were lucky. You looked away before it could take your shape." The third story came from a truck driver named Henry, who had been hauling freight through New Mexico for over a decade. It was a lonely job, but one he had grown used to until one cold winter night on a desolate stretch of